everybody, it's Kira and welcome back to my channel. So today I have my December wrap-up for you guys. So I only read 4 books in the last month of 2022, but that's okay. I also read them mostly like towards the end of the month, but because I was kind of in a reading slump for the first part of it. But anyways, they were all fantastic books and let's get into them. So we started off the month with a reread of the same book again, and that's The Infinite Noise by Lauren Shippen. This time I listened to the audiobook version, so they got the voice actor for Caleb to come back. They did not get the same voice actor for Adam, which was kind of sad, honestly, but they did get somebody who sounded like pretty similar, so it wasn't like terrible, but it was just really fun like listening to Caleb get to narrate everything. So if you don't know, this is based off of a podcast called The Bright Sessions, and it's about this boy named Caleb who is an empath and is having trouble dealing with everyone's emotions just flooding him all at once until he starts to get to know this boy named Adam who is in his English class, and the two of them start to form a friendship, and it's just beautiful and I love them so much. Because it's based on a podcast, it was interesting getting to hear the voice actor for Caleb especially like narrate his stuff, because it was funny, like even reading it the first time through I could tell like what Caleb would sound like here, like saying that stuff, and then it did, and it was just so good. So I just love these two so much, and it was really fun to get to listen to the audiobook. I still need to listen to the audiobook for A Neon Darkness because I know that's narrated by the Damien voice actor as well, but I need to find that somewhere. But yeah. And then I read 3 books that were new to me, which is good. So first up we have Rooftoppers by Katherine Rundell. This is a middle grade book that was so whimsical and magical. It was fantastic. So it's about this girl named Sophie. Shoot, is it the 1800s, I think they live in? And she gets shipwrecked when she's a baby, and she's found by this man named Charles who's unmarried, but he saves her and he's like, I need to raise her. And so they both end up a little bit on the eccentric side. Sophie is always, you know, wearing pants as a girl that she's not supposed to, and she doesn't go to like normal school. She just like does lessons with Charles, and like they go on adventures and all this stuff, but she's trying to find her mom because she knows in her heart that her mom survived the shipwreck, but they haven't found any evidence to that until one day she breaks open the violin case that she was like saved in as a baby and finds a name in there. And so Charles and Sophie go to London, and they're in London, they go to Paris, and they're trying to find her mom. And when they're in Paris, they're kind of on the run though too, a little bit. And so Sophie ends up going on to finding a friend in this boy named Mateo, who is one of these rooftoppers, one of these kids who like lives on the rooftops of buildings. And the whole book, again, it's a middle grade book. I think Sophie's like 11 or 12 or something in the book. The whole thing is just like so cute and whimsical and magical, and would have been 100,000% up my alley when I was little. So like it still like just made me so happy, and it just very much brought me back to that like magic of being a small child, and like everything is so cool and amazing, and just like sometimes her thoughts would go off in different tangents and she would find beauty in like just the most mundane things, and it was just so cute and fun. Next up we have The Scorpio Races by Maggie Stiefvater. This is one that I got for Christmas, and it's really funny actually because I had started to read it years ago but didn't really know anything about it, and for some reason like did not enjoy it at all. So I'd like put it down. I started listening to the audiobook maybe for it. I think it was the audiobook because it was like one of the free ones that was on Spotify at one point in time. I don't know if it still is or not, but yeah, just like couldn't get into it. And then I read it this time and loved it. Oh my goodness, the slow burn in the whole thing was super good, first of all. But also just like the way that she wrote like the horses interacting with the people, and then Sean's special relationship to the horses was so cool. So anyways, it's about these two characters named Sean and Puck. And Sean works with, oh boy, I should have written down how to say the name of the horses. They're these water horses that they're from, I think, Celtic mythology, but it's like the Kapolushki. That's not how you say it at all. Just embarrassing myself at this point. It's Kapol Ushi? I don't really know. But anyways, they're just these horses that come up out of the water, and they're very wild and vicious and will like murder people if given the chance. But there's this thing called the Scorpio races that happens every November, and so Sean is really good at like controlling the horses and making them calm and whatnot. And he just has like a special relationship with them. So he's riding in the races, of course, but then we also have Puck, who is a girl who is, her family is kind of starting to disintegrate. Her brother is going to leave the island, and she also finds out that they need to save the house, that she needs a lot of money fast to save the house. So she decides she's going to race in the Scorpio races to keep her brother just on the island a little bit longer and try and figure out a way to save kind of her house and her brothers. And so the two of them end up meeting and forming this really interesting relationship, and it was really cool because it is very much a slow burn, but like, I don't know, just the whole atmosphere of this book was fantastic, and I loved it so much. And then my last book for December, and the last book that I read in 2022, I actually finished on New Year's Eve, and that is Artemis by Andy Weir. I've had this book since it came out, or since it was a Book of the Month Club book in 2017, and I haven't read it until now. I read The Martian by him and really loved it, so I was like, I should read his other stuff, and then never did. So this is about a girl named Jasmine who lives on the moon. So she lives in this colony on the moon called Artemis, and she's kind of like a smuggler on the moon. She works in this like shipping department bringing in all these shipments, but then also like knows kind of who to smuggle to where. And she gets one of her contacts tells her about this really big paying job that he wants her to do. It's a little bit different. He wants her to like cripple these like not walkers, these like big harvesting machine things. And so she's like, it's different, but sure, I'll do that. And then things go terribly wrong. She ends up on the run being chased by a murderer, and then like the whole city ends up getting involved, and I don't know, it just got like super crazy. I found the relationships in the story very fascinating. Both Jasmine's relationship with like her dad and then also with like all these other people was very fascinating, and you got lots of it in like bits and pieces sprinkled throughout like in backstory and stuff, because there's like a couple characters that she's like they're like there's an ex of hers that she's like still in contact with, but she's kind of mad at this one friend of hers too, and I don't know, it was very interesting. I feel like though the one thing that bothered me, and I don't know if this is just because I also know in The Martian this kind of bothered me too, but like, maybe you can't do it without this, but there was just too much like technical talk. So, well, in The Martian, it was a lot more of like the math and sciences because it's Mark Watney's trying to survive on Mars by himself. But in this one, it felt like because like Artemis is such an established place on the moon, there was all these like places and things about Artemis that were obvious to Jasmine having grown up there, but not obvious to us as readers because we don't know it. And so it would be like something would happen, and then she like stop and explain that all of this stuff where like, oh, this place connects to this place, and this airlock can't be opened unless this thing happens, because obviously like we don't want the vacuum of space to enter in, and we don't want to vent all our oxygen and all that stuff. And I feel like throughout the first half of the book it was a little bit annoying. Maybe I just got used to it, I don't really know, but it was kind of like like, I don't know, it's not my favorite thing ever, but it was still a very enjoyable book, and I've heard good things, I think, about his other one, that I'm blanking on the title of right now, but still glad that I read this. So yeah, those are all the books that I read in the month of December. Comment down below, let me know what you guys read last month, and did you enjoy all of them, or if you've read any of these books, let me know down below. So yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you want to follow me on social media, all my links will be in the description as always. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!